It's unfortunate that we have a government that is reactive instead of being proactive. Why they are fighting the bandits? What is government doing to move those children that are out of school into school? Of course, we set the pace for other state councils to follow, and we gave ourselves the target that in 5 years' time, we want to raise a minimum of 20 millionaires.
Wow. Hello viewers, you're welcome to the first edition of the Rivers State Steadfast podcast. Of course, it is the Vanguard to x-ray issues and programs that concerns the Boys Brigade Nigeria Rivers State Council and the external publics. Of course, we have societal issues, political and even religious. In this podcast, it's going to further give insight to all of this, and we'll see way forward to combat the pressing issues as it concerns the boy child and the society. Let me introduce to you our well-distinguished and respected guests, the State Secretary Organizer. Please, sir, tell us your name.
Okay, my name is Chukwudi Ebim, and by mandate of the Rivers State Council, like you've said, I serve as the State Secretary Organizer of the Rivers State Council Boys Brigade Nigeria.
And today, I'm your host, the Public Relations Officer of the Rivers State Council. My name is Vanguard Ebim Ekani, National Training Officer of the Boys Brigade Nigeria. You're welcome, sir. We are very much happy and elated to have you in this podcast section.
Well, I also feel excited to be here. This is the first of its kind, and thumbs up to the Rivers State Council, most especially the Public Relations Department.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So very quickly, we are going to be treating the topic, the 2026 vision and future projections for BB Rivers. I'd like to ask, as the State Council, which has begun since January, which is the new administrative year, many members are eager to understand the direction of our projection. And so, could you walk us through the thinking behind the 2026 vision and what does it truly represent for the council?
Well, the Rivers State Council is a pace-setting state council as far as Boys Brigade is concerned, world over, not just Nigeria, because our reach has gone beyond Nigeria. And every year we set targets for ourselves, and we build it around our team for the year. And of course, our team this year is pressing towards the goal. And when we talk about the goal, we talk about everything that has to do with the aims and objective of the Boys Brigade, character training, decision for Christ, church membership, the advancement of Christ's kingdom among boys, and the promotion of habits of obedience, reverence, self-respect, and all that tends towards a true Christian manliness. So this is one thing that drives us, and like I've said, this year, the team is pressing towards the goal. So it's assumed that if we have not been doing much before, or if the results of the yesteryears are not what it should be, this year is a year for us to put more effort, and we are doing that. And the four cardinal areas of the development of the boy child, who is the focus of the Boys Brigade, the spiritual development, the physical development, his social development, and his educational development. These are things we have put together as a way of programs, calendar of events for the year, and we are trying to see that we meet all of them so that at the end of this year, 2026, the boy child can be proud that he belongs to an organization known as the Boys Brigade.
Oh, thank you so much, sir. I think that is very, very insightful. I think our viewers and the general public would like to know what programs and what activities, events that has been put in place for the year 2026.
Well, of course, every year we begin with God. We have our rededication service where we go and tell God that we are back again for Him to fortify us for the task ahead. That we have done this year. And also, we are privileged to host some national events and also investiture of national patrons added to the existing ones from Rivers State. Too many programs, workshops, seminars we've done. We even have the State Events Camp, which is a biennial program of the Rivers State Council that focuses more, where we stay 7 to 8 days to look at issues that confront the boy child. And too many things, competitions put together in that program. Talk about the Bible quiz, football competition, volleyball competition. We talk about even the pageantry, the band and drill competition. All these things are things to spice activities for the year. We also have the the Steadfast Entrepreneurship Program for the year, where we support our officers and boys who are into small-scale business. We have the fourth edition for this year. And we also have the Carol, the end of year Carol. We have the Praise Night program, which is one program that is today when you talk about praise programs in Rivers State as a whole. You'll count the Praise Night of the Boys Brigade Rivers State Council, which we tag More Than Noise. So this year is another edition. So we have a lot put together, our training programs across battalions and group councils. We just came back from Bonny, where we went to organize our integrated training course for our members over there. So too many things put together. The Rivers State Council is a very busy state council. We are very busy and we take our jobs very seriously.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We can see that truly the Rivers State Council is a very busy state council. But in course of your enumerating the activities for the year 2026, I think my attention was drawn to a particular program you said you have carried out for the year 2026, meeting to the 4 cardinal points. But this one is specifically on education and equally, empowerment. You talked about the entrepreneurship program. I want you to tell us in details how you have, or as a state council, championed that program and how the boys, officers, and NCOs have benefited from that program.
Okay, I was going to share that probably when you talk about the vision for the. But like I said, we have what we call the Steadfast Entrepreneurship Heroes Competition, where our boys and officers that are into small-scale businesses apply and tell us reasons why they need support for their businesses. And we've done the first, second, and third edition. This year, we are going to be doing the fourth edition. The idea is that we don't want people, because mainly at the level of officers, we don't want an officer that has nothing doing, because the officers are the key players as far as the boys brigade is concerned. So if an officer does not have something doing, you might not really have, because it's the substructure, which is the economy, is what drives society today. You can't do anything without your own personal money. You don't need to wait for. So for us, we want to raise millionaires amongst us. And so every year we pick 5 to 10 of our officers, our senior NCOs, and have businesses that we can verify that really have something doing, small-scale businesses. And we support them with 500,000 naira and above. We also register their businesses with the Corporate Affairs Commission. So we are doing this. The goal, like I've said, is building boys and officers that will be self-reliant citizens of this country.
That's a wonderful one. It tells that the Rivers State Council is committed to the growth and development of the boys and NCOs. And I would say kudos to the Rivers State Council. But I would like to know equally, sir, every vision usually carries deeper purpose beyond the written documents. In practical terms, how should boys and officers interpret the 2026 vision in their everyday activities within their company's battalion and group council?
Well, every member of the Boys Brigade, the vision is clear here in Rivers State Council. I don't know about other places, but for us here, the vision is clear. The vision of the founder, the issue, like I mentioned, character transition for Christ Church membership, even the objects. These are things that are practical, our day-to-day activities, our day-to-day life. Even when you wake up in the morning, how you say good morning to your mommy and good morning to your daddy, it's part of it. So the Boys Brigade is a life you live every day. So it doesn't have to do with when you come to company meetings or when you come to state council affairs. From the home, when you wake up, even before you go to bed, the activities you carry out in your school, in your environment where you stay, and everything, a lot has to tell that you're a member of the Boys Brigade. So it's practical. It's a way of life for all of us here in Rivers State.
Okay. I believe our viewers are listening and they are enjoying what you are saying. Would like to know, sir, when a vision is set for an organization like the Boys Brigade, it often requires collective commitments. From your perspective, what kind of mindset or attitude should members develop in order to make the vision a reality? What kind of mindsets, what kind of attitude, practical ways, to equally make it a reality?
We have always told people, and for me, every achievement we have recorded, I've always said it's a collective thing. It's not a one-man thing. So it is when you begin to ascribe the secret or the successes recorded to yourself, then people will choose to probably leave it for you and say, since it's your thing. But for us here, it's a collective thing. And we have always said that everybody must put hands together because it's a collective thing. If the glory comes, it rubs on all of us. If we fail, everyone has failed. So the mindset is everybody seeing it that it's our thing. And one thing very special about the Boys Brigade here in Rivers State Council is that there is no time for laxity. If you are not up and doing to whatever task that is assigned to you, someone else is waiting to fill in that gap. So it's competitive, a healthy competition. People complementing each other to see that results are recorded. So the mindset is everybody needs to work. Everybody needs to go to work, and whatever success that comes is collective.
Wow. That's a beautiful one. Okay, would like to know, looking at the programs planned for the year 2026, how do they fit into the broader goal of strengthening discipline, faith, and leadership among young people in the organization here in Rivers State?
I've said it that the Boys Brigade is a way of life for heroes here in Rivers State. Everyone that is a member that is committed to what we are doing here is a way of life. How you address your seniors, how you address your parents, what happens even when you grow up, when you stand up from bed, like I've said, it's a way of life. So it's something that everybody keys into, and everybody lives. Because at the end of the day, whatever happens to one person, they say when one finger touches oil, it can rub on all the other fingers. So people are conscious of that act, and that they are also conscious of the fact that a lot has been put in to build the image of the organization here in Rivers State. So everyone is up and doing in all aspects of life, in terms of faith, in terms of every day being disciplined in your place of work, in your place where you're schooling. It reflects. One thing is when people see you, like me for one, people are, why are you like, what's people tend to ask questions why I act the way I act, and for me it's the Boys Brigade. And same applies to too many of us that are here in Rivers State Council. It's our way of life. It's a way of life for us.
It's our way of life. Okay, that is a good one, sir. I would like to know, looking at the 2026 calendar, is there any specific program that is very dear to you that you want to achieve, at any cost? It is very dear to you, and the reason why the program is dear to you. Any specific program?
For me, all our programs are there to me. There is no one that is
okay.
all the praise program. But the biggest program for us this year is events camp.
Okay.
Because you house over 3,000 boys and officers. They're staying for about 8 days. The feeding, trying to control them, making the events outlined as per content of the events camp to be achieved. That one is more like the biggest program for us this year. So it's not like a one day you come, you go. Every other one is maybe you come, you go that day. But this one is a resident program. So for us, that one is like the bigger headache we have for this year. But God being on our side, we are going to surmount whatever it is.
Okay, the event camp. Talking about the event camp, can you just walk us through what is expected? What are the expectations of the supposed participants, and what is it they will be expecting from the Rivers State Council, and any other thing that you feel that you can just tell us? And when is the date? You just told us about the event camp. I think our viewers would like to know. There are some persons from probably other state council, and people will be interested to key into the vision of the event camp. So you can just tell us.
Well, it's in August 16th to Sunday 16th to Sunday 23rd of August. And this year it will be better. Like I had mentioned before now, there are competitions outlined. Part of the ways the Boys Brigade achieves our aims and objectives, which we discuss on that Boys Brigade method, competition is there too. It helps the boys to prepare themselves and to take their training seriously. So at the event camp, all councils compete in the area of the Bible quiz, in the area of band, in the area of drill, in the area of football, in the area of volleyball. We also have skills exhibition competition, where those of us that have one skill or the other will come to do something and exhibit them. We'll see. It's also part of the competitions. We also have the pageantry competition, where I have the Master Baby Rivers and Miss Baby Rivers, and it's like the most talked about pageantry program in Rivers State. That's the truth about it. So a lot will be happening. Councils will be competing, and also we are also trying to build in some capacity building programs for our officers and senior NCUs, so that when you come at the end of the day, you are learning something to go home outside the competitions that we're going to introduce. The too many things we are trying to put together at the level of the committee to see that people are properly enriched in terms of content of the program.
Okay, that's a beautiful one. I think I would like to encourage our viewers to, seize this ample opportunity and attend the camp to be enriched. I would like to know, are there any challenges you're facing in order to drive down the vision for the year 2026? Any challenges for the officers to understand the vision and implement the vision? Veterans equally, boys. Are there any challenges? Could be financial, could be, human understanding, or what have you. Are there any challenges you faced?
Economics will tell you that human wants are insatiable. So if I say there are no challenges, I might not really be speaking the truth. But the one thing is that God has helped us. For us, the key thing is finance. The key thing is finance, and then some level of sponsorship and government being interested. Now, this our events camp that we do biannually, once in 2 years. We have the football competitions, like I've said, the volleyball, and other track and field competitions. But the issue is, how do we integrate them into the outer society to probably register a team? So I think the government has a lot to do in terms of sports development in the states and even in the country. Everything today boils down to politics, and so there are some areas are not really, because the Boys Brigade talents are harnessed, and these talents can, on the long run, become people that Rivers State as a state can rely on for certain international competitions for sports. So these are some of the challenges. You write to Ministry of Sports, they are not there. Over the years we write to them to say, come see what we are doing, come and see how you can harvest talents to incorporate into the Rivers team. But those things, and also, like I said, finance. So
okay, I think that is bringing me to the next question, because it's already here. You talked about, but then we'd like to know, driving down the vision, you need partnership and collaboration, which is increasingly important as a youth and organization. Does the 2026 vision provide room for stronger engagement with churches and communities, government? If so, how?
Well, we are actually doing a lot, trying to make the Boys Brigade a household name in Rivers State. And whether you like it or not, the Boys Brigade is a household name in Rivers State. I don't know what happens in other states. Everybody knows, the government is aware of Boys Brigade, the churches are aware of Boys Brigade, families are aware of, communities are aware of Boys Brigade. Because hardly you go to a community where there is no company, it's not possible. 1, 2 companies, some communities you have about 5 companies. So the communities are aware, the churches are aware, because every company must be attached to a church. That's it. And it's an interdenominational organization, so it's not like it's a one denominational thing. And those, like I said, the government is aware. We just celebrated Children's Day on the 27th of May. Boys Brigade was invited to come and be part of the march past, so everybody's aware.
Okay, thank you about that. I must commend what you're doing and what the Rivers State Council is doing in terms of community development, partnership, and collaboration. Okay, sir. Would want to know, beyond the 2026 vision, is there any future projection or vision you have for the Rivers State Council as a chief administrator?
Well, it's said that the Boys Brigade strive to build boys to become self-reliant citizens. And when people are self-reliant, they're less burdened from their families. And not just that, they're less burdened from their families, crime reduces. And that is why when we came on board, we decided to initiate the Steadfast Entrepreneurship Heroes competition. And we gave ourselves the target that in 5 years' time, we want to raise a minimum of 20 millionaires.
Wow.
And we are working on that. We're almost there. We've done this year will be the 4th year, next year will be the 5th year. And I can tell you by that 5th year, we'll almost be there. So for us, projections, we want in between now and 2030, we should have over 50 that have passed through the support of this scheme and are people that will be self-reliant on their own, and that will also help them to also help other boys as downlines. There was one of them who is today doing well in the fashion industry. As a way of saying thank you to the Boys Brigade, came and said, let's bring boys, I want to train them.
Wow. You happen in this River State Council?
Of course.
Oh, wow.
I want to train them. So you can imagine, these ones that are being trained as downlines to these people, they are not even part of the number we are counting. So a lot is happening.
Wow. Oh, that's nice. Hearing that somebody benefited from a program in River State Council, developed entrepreneurially, and now inculcating same teachings and trainings to the younger ones. It's a good thing to behold. I tell you for a fact. Okay, sir. I would like to know, many young people today are faced with peer pressure. It has really eaten deep into our society. We know the happenings in the society. And thereby it is declining moral values, and societal distraction is incessant. It is on the increase. How does the Vision 2026 position the Boys Brigade as a positive influence in addressing these concerns?
Well, like I've said, this year is dynamic. This year is a very special year. Not just that we have the state events camp, we also have the integrated training courses across battalions and group councils. So this year is not the year that we expect that everybody comes to the center for the purpose of training. This year we are going to the councils. Like I said, I just came in from Bonnet just this evening. We've been there since on Tuesday. So this year we are going. And when we have them engaged, most times they say that the idle man is the devil's workshop. This period, the Easter holiday, we use that Easter holiday and even this midterm break and the public holiday to engage our boys, to see that they have something doing. Even in August too, when they'll have the long vacation, we say have programs to keep them engaged so that issues of society will not find them at home. They are somewhere, they are doing something, they are busy, they are competing, they are preparing, they are writing exams, they want to go to the next level of training. So that's what we're doing.
Oh, that's a beautiful one. All right. Finally, what message of encouragement would you like to share with your officers, boys, veterans, as River State Council continues on the journey of fulfilling the 2026 vision?
Okay. Before I talk about that, I would want to add also to our vision, which we tagged Vision 2030. I talked about the issue of raising millionaires. There's also our plan that by 2030 we should raise leaders, real leaders that can be leaders indeed, not the kind of leaders that are failing us today in our country. We are also projecting that we should have a steadfast academy, which we have also bought land somewhere in H. We have about 10 plus of land we've been able to acquire.
Wow!
And then we intend to have the steadfast academy there. That academy will do a lot for us. It will take some of our indigent boys off the streets so they can go to school, and the Boys Brigade will take responsibility for that, owing the fact that you're a member of the Boys Brigade. And also some of our officers that have also graduated that do not have job can also be employed in the academy. So it will do a lot for us, and it will also be a source of income for the River State Council. Also, we intend that between now and 2030, all councils should be battalion at the level of battalion. We don't want to see group councils again. We want everyone to, because battalions are more fruitful and they give results than group councils. Again, we also intend to build an image further on the image of the Boys Brigade, both in the internal and external publics, so that, like I've said, Boys Brigade River State is a household name. We want it more. We want it that when you are sleeping Boys Brigade. When you are dreaming Boys Brigade. When you wake up, you hear Boys Brigade, yes, whether you are a member or not. So that one is a target for it. And again, we intend to connect the BB with the government very well. Well, it's unfortunate that what strive is politics. Everybody is politics, and then the boys brigade is not ready to come and start campaigning for anybody, because we can't do that. We have people that belong to diverse political organizations or political parties, and so we try as much as possible not to be partisan. So I think that's part of why it's like the government is, but we are also making wave in that direction. Like I've said, the government knows what is happening. If not for certain crises that happened, would have invested the governor as the grand patron of the Rivers State Council, because a date was given and approvals were made. And again, like I've talked about education for the boy child, we want to make sure that every boy in the boys brigade goes to school, whether your parents can afford it or not. That is a vision for us 2030. And Save the Boy Child campaign is also another core area. Too many things happen to the boy child. The focus is on the girl child, and nobody speaks for the boy child. The boy child is molested in different forms, even cultism and everything. Nobody speaks. Well, for us, between now and 2030, we want to make sure that Rivers State as a state, not Boys Brigade now, Rivers State, that we see how we can save the boy child and add value to the life of the boy child. And also sports council and the sporting activities. One key thing we want to achieve this year after our events camp is to make sure that all our participants are high flyers in terms of our competitions we're going to have in areas of sports. We register them. We want to register a team, football team, a volleyball team with the Rivers State Sports Council. So we want to see how we can drive that in the years to come. Probably the Steadfast FC, Steadfast Football Club, might be playing in Premiership. You never can tell. You never can tell. And we won't stay 22 years to carry Premiership. That kind of thing. So
and lose Championship.
And lose Champions League. So these are visions we have. Even our pageantry program too, like I've said, when you talk about pageantry events in Rivers State today as a state, you talk about that of the Boys Brigade Rivers State Council. Last time we had it 2 years ago, the Rivers State Ministry of Culture and Tourism, they were there to be part of it. And they saw what we did, and they said they've never seen a pageantry program well organized as we did ours. So these are things that are making wave, and we intend to work on them to make them look better and more professional.
I know a lot has been put in place in order to achieve this vision. Just like you said, the 10 plots of land. You informed us that we have 10 plots of land as a state council at the chain. And so it is just, building the structures. All this enumerated, very beautiful. And I know, God willing, it will be achieved. But what would you say, or what will you tell the government in order to collaborate with you? I would want you to say something, in order to collaborate with this vision, considering the fact that the goal is to develop the boy so that we can have society free from social vices, society that we can work at any time without any fear of danger or harm. We have a society free from insurgencies, criminalities, and all that. So what will you say to the government at this point? Because this is a very beautiful vision, meeting to the 4 cardinal points: the educational, physical, social, and spiritual aspect of young youths, training them to become better leaders. What will you tell the government?
It's unfortunate that we have a government that is reactive instead of being proactive. And so you see, when cultism begins to strive, they want to do amnesty, people should drop arms, and they now focus on those set of people. What about the younger generation that will get to a certain stage in life where those other people got to and begin to carry these arms? Nobody is ready to talk about that, and it's very unfortunate. So people, even what's happening in the northern part of Nigeria today, a lot of out of school children are there. Government, why they are fighting the bandits? What is government doing to move those children that are out of school into school? Because if that is not done, and they are not properly integrated and given the kind of life that's expected, they will still grow up and become bandits of tomorrow. So for me, I want to say that we need our government to be more proactive. Organizations like the Boys Brigade should be taken very seriously and supported, because the governments cannot be everywhere to do everything at every point in time. But when organizations like this are supported, we have a further reach to these boys, and we are talking about boys here that will tomorrow become men. And the Boys Brigade is doing a lot. And not just the Boys Brigade, probably one or two other voluntary youth, deformed youth organizations.
Okay.
So the Boys Brigade, the government needs to be proactive. And I'm saying that the government should look inward and support. This idea of waiting for when to do amnesty and telling people to drop arms and it ends there cannot help us. Because the next generation will come and they will also carry arms.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it is a prayer that the government will key into this vision, will hear our voice and cry and key into this vision. The state secretary organizer said a lot, but would like you to tell us, what message of encouragement would you like to share with officers, boys, patrons, as the Rivers State Council continues on the journey of fulfilling the 2026 vision?
Well, there's a popular song in the Boys Brigade, Little Boys Brigade, do not cry, you will be a leader day by day. So for me, for the boys, that's my word for them. They will be leaders, what they want to be. For us here in Rivers State, we have initiated a system of mentorship. We want to mentor our boys. The officers mentoring the boys, the patrons having time to mentor the boys. So they will grow to become who they want to be. It's just about consistency. And they will become high flyers. And for us, we know we are going to achieve that as a state council. And also to our patrons, we thank them so much. They are really doing a lot. Because the Rivers State Council that you hear today, without government support, no government subvention, nothing coming from any government, is being financed by the patrons and some of our officers. And so we said kudos to our patrons. And for us, what they are doing, we know that God will reward them. And I pray one prayer for them. I say, what they make happen for other people's children that are not their biological children, God will make it happen for their own children. Those of them, their children are abroad and different places. God will raise men and women that will be there to also help their own children. So we tell them to continue what they are doing. Their money is not waste; it's going for waste. And in years to come, they will look back and see some of the boys they've made impact in their life. To be proud of them. You never can tell the door you open tomorrow. It's the boy you gave a scholarship 20 years ago that is the one sitting there. You can imagine how happy you will be as a patron. So, and that's the kind of family and system we are built here in Rivers State. So we say they should continue. They should not lose faith in the Boys Brigade. Of course, we are also making them proud at our level as officers and boys. Again, to our officers, we also tell them everybody should come on board, fasten their seat belts. A lot is happening. Nobody should sit on the fence and be expecting anybody to come and push you. The Rivers State Council is not like that. You must be up and doing. If you don't have anything to offer, look for a way and build yourself. Build your capacity so that you can have something to offer. And then it will help you to better be useful to yourself and to society. Because I've always said it, if you have a talent and you don't utilize it, you die with the talent. The parable of the talents in the Bible that Jesus gave, one went to hide his own. And when the master came, he took it, punished him, and gave to the people that utilize their own. So everybody should be up and doing whatever responsibility that is assigned to you. Every officer has a responsibility. As small as one officer to 10 boys is a responsibility. So you don't need to be the captain. You don't need to be the battalion secretary. You don't need to be state secretary organizer. At least you have 10 boys that are attached to you that are your core responsibilities. And so you must take that responsibility very seriously, because a lot depends on you, how you train those boys. If you don't do it well, tomorrow they can see you and say you failed. And like I've also said in terms of the patrons too, the boy you have made impact in his life as an officer can see you in the next 20 years, in the next 30 years, in the next 10 years, and say, this man, if not this man, I wouldn't have been who I am.
Yes.
So there's a pride in it. So for me, everybody should take every assignment very seriously. And also, this thing is the work of God. And the Bible says that every man will be rewarded accordingly. So if you put 1%, you get 1% reward. You put 100%, you get 100% reward. So I don't know who does not want to get 100% reward. For me, I want to get 100% reward. So everybody should just be up and doing. And then, of course, in years to come, we'll all be happy.
Wow. That is a very emotional one, but yet very beautiful and wonderful. If I were the boys, officers, and patrons, I believe I'll key into what he has said. He has equally talked about the Vision 2026 and Vision 2030. And so that brings us to the conclusion of today's edition of the podcast. Thank you, viewers, for watching us. This for today's episode, which is the Vision 2026 and the future projection for the Rivers State Council. Of course, our distinguished and well-respected guest is the Chief Administrator of the Rivers State Council, the State Secretary Organizer. Thank you, sir.
Well, the pleasure is mine. Like I said, thumbs up to the Public Relations Department of the Boys Brigade Nigeria Rivers State Council. This is novel, this is unprecedented. And of course, we set the pace for other state councils to follow. The next thing now, you see some state councils trying to be like Rivers. So kudos to you, PRO of Council.
And so we hope to see you on our next episode. Please stay tuned to all of our channels. I remain Ekani Vanguard and Mom, National Training Officer of the Boys Brigade Nigeria and the Public Relations Officer of the Rivers State Council. I'm your host. Thank you.